Hey guys, I'm Quirkstrill, and in this video, I'm doing the minus mail infinite spam of Stormpike build. This was patched out a while ago, and I just never got around to finish editing this video, but now it's done. So, once again, the build works by using minus mail, Guard Scepter, and Stormpike. Stormpike you can infinitely pick up, because obviously when you throw the spear is on the ground. When you go pick up the spear, then it will refresh the skill, so you can throw it again. And if you constantly perfect it and constantly pick it up, then Guard Scepter will give you armor, which means minus mail will give you gold. And for every 50 gold that is gained this way, you'll gain 1 max armor. So with this build, you're basically just gaining as much max armor as possible. So by doing this infinitely, or for a very long duration, you can gain a lot of max armor, which there's a couple of relics that use max armor. One of which is Wizard's Fleece, which I'm using here, which for every max armor you have, or current armor you have 3% skill damage. So it's just a way to make your skills deal a ton of damage. And at this exact point here, I was just getting the macro setup. So I set up a macro so I can just do this infinitely pretty much until I tell it to stop. So basically what it's doing is it's perfect casting the skill, Stormpike, then I pick it up, and that's pretty much it. It's just that loop forever. Yeah. Honestly, that's pretty much it. I'll go over some other things later in the video as well. Soon after we hit the 12-hour mark, the game started bugging out, I guess you could call it. Or maybe it was like we were in the game for too long, because this build just randomly stopped working. I couldn't pick up the skill anymore. The skill would just sit on the ground with the pickup key being like active or like prompted, but I could not pick it up. I don't know why it broke, but it broke, and then we had to continue out the run. The start of the run was really slow actually, because we didn't have any skill recharge like at all really, and we had so much damage and just our stats were super high. Like, as you can see from this stat upgrade selector, you can see that we had like 60+K skill damage, which means we're never gonna die, and we also had so much armor that we're just never gonna get hit. We're never gonna die from being hit. It's just we didn't have the skill refresh to make the build proficient, and that's partly because I chose the wrong weapon mods at the beginning, but honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. Now at this point, we went to a relic selector and we found Apprentice Spellbook, which gave us some of the refresh that we needed. However, it still isn't quite enough to make the build go crazy, but it definitely helped us out here. I guess it's also a good time to note that this build does extremely well against high health single targets. So, such as this mini-boss, we just did 2.2 thousand damage to that mini-boss, which insta-killed him, and that's pretty much all we needed. Also with this build, you just have infinite gold, so at this refinement shop, I just maxed out everything, and when Wizard's Fleece gets to level 4, it is 12% skill damage per armor you currently have. So I got up to about 27,000 skill damage, and as you can imagine, that is a lot of skill damage, which means we're going to be one-shotting everything from here on out. If you're wondering why I went to Healing Fountain over the shop, it's because I needed the skill charges, right? When you go to Healing Fountain, you get all your skill charges back. And in this build, I need my skill charges. And I don't refresh them fast enough, so just getting all of them back at once is super beneficial. In this skill selector, I'm looking for a better skill to use, because Stormpike, as good as it is, I can't refresh it because it's just bugging out. I can't pick up the spear, and I need more refresh. So I'm looking for a better skill here, but sadly, I do not get a better skill here, so I end up just taking the Charge General Upgrade for Quasar Orbs. Now that we entered the pre-boss room, I hope you guys are expecting the outcome of this boss fight that is about to happen. As I hope you've imagined, we one-tap Overlord Mac. Now, Overlord Mac is scaled down heavily because this is my A1 technically. You know it's Anvil, which is an A4 area, or Area 4. It is my first world because I'm running the Chaos modifier. And our second world is Simulon. Now, Simulon is the other Area 4 variant, which isn't the best world to get. However, we got it, so now we gotta just blast our way through it. In this relic selector, we're looking for some good relics, and we found Star's Toolbox after a couple of rerolls, so we're taking that. In this skill selector, we're literally just going to get a skill upgrade for Quasar Orbs so that we can get the ultimate upgrade for Quasar Orbs. Because the ultimate will allow our build to go insane, let's call it. Because, you know, the ultimate upgrade for Quasar Orbs is whenever you charge Quasar Orbs, you release Seeking Orbs. So that Seeking Orb damage does take into account your skill damage. So as you'll see on this mini-boss, we are dealing so much damage from the Seeking Orbs being released from just charging Quasar Orbs. And now pretty much the build is online and ready to go. We go to the refinement shop here, but we have nothing to refine, so we just move on. Terabyte went down quite easily, surprisingly, and with that we ended our second area with a time of 1 minute and 37 seconds, which put us at 3 minutes and 27 seconds overall so far. So we're on decent pace, not crazy pace, but decent pace. And with that, our third world is Inferno Bastille. This is probably the worst area we could have gotten, but it's still okay. It's just gonna take a long time, because a lot of enemies summon other enemies when they die, so there's just a lot of enemies in general. This mini-boss is usually really difficult, but, you know, with this build, you just kind of one-tap them, so it doesn't really matter. We found Empowered Bangle in this shop, so we're just gonna pick that up. It's just a lot more damage on the first hit of an enemy when you use a skill. As we enter the boss fight, I was wondering if we can one-shot this boss, because there is invulnerable phases, and I wasn't sure if it was going to just ignore them all or not. And, well, we found the answer. It just ignores all the invulnerable phases. As long as you deal their entire health bar in one hit, you can effectively one-shot them. And with that, we ended the area with a time of 1 minute and 12 seconds, which put us to a total of 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Now, the fourth area that we got is Mycelium. This shop is really good. We have Guild Remains and Decayed Scepter. Together, it's a really good synergy. You get a lot of gold, but in this build, we don't need any more gold. We're getting so much gold anyways. So we pick up the chronograph and then reroll the shop. We then find Supreme Ambition. Now, it is quite late into the run, but we're going to pick up Supreme Ambition anyways. It's just an insane pickup. After defeating this boss, we finish this area with a time of 1 minute and 26 seconds, and an overall time of 6 minutes and 7 seconds. Now going forward, I'm going to leave the entire 5th area of Netherra completely unedited. I'm not going to skip anything. After completing all of Netherra, except for the boss fights, I had one question in my mind, which was, can I one-shot the Architect? Is it possible? And we're about to find out. And with that first hit on the Architects, we realized you cannot. You can only deal as much damage as 1/4 of its health bar for each increment per hit. And after defeating the Architect, the first loop is complete. I did do a second loop, and if you want to see that second loop, it will be linked in the description, and it'll also be on the end screen of the video. And once again, the entire build is built around Midas Mail, Guard Scepter, and Stormpike. Now, once again, it was patched, so you can't just throw the spear against a wall anymore. That part got patched out. However, you can still throw it straight and go pick it up and then throw it again. You know, you can do that. But overall, it is nerfed and kind of impossible to do what I did again. But I hope you've enjoyed. And if you do want to see that second part or the loop 2, it will be once again on the end screen or linked in the description. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.